What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Saturday show, Jammin with J Money. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Yesterday, we officially reached 70,000 subscribers, man. So we appreciate everybody for hitting the like button, subscribing. Everybody that goes back and watches the show, we appreciate all you guys for watching. And hey, share the word to more people, man. Let's get to 70, 75,000, 80,000 subscribers, man. We can get there. We can get there. No more and more people betting NBA these days. Like I say, go to sbrpicks.com/NBA to check out all our NBA articles that we have over there, and football, college football, NFL, whatever you like to bet, we got articles over there. Today is myself, Jay Money. We got my guy Teddy Covers with me, and that's my guy Jordan Sharp. Y'all know from Monday through Friday. So we got a Saturday show with Jordan today, man. What's up, Jordan? Everything good with you, bro?
Yeah, man, that game last night was a little rough to watch at times, but at the same time, the Heat looked like they were the team that were very much committed to not getting blown out of that game, especially in the second half. And for those of you that had the 10.5 later, even the 11 before it closed, congratulations. That was a very sharp play. When I saw that 11 hit up last night, I was very tempted, very, very tempted, because I think when we were on the show, it was about 9.5, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So about 9 hours later, it had moved up another 1.5, and we were kind of talking about that in the show. Like, if this gets any higher, we're going to have to think about it. I didn't end up pulling the trigger though, but ended up making a little money on the W last night. Should have followed my instinct and taken the teaser that I was talking about yesterday, but ended up chickening out on that as well. Would have lost my first quarter play on that lean too. So nothing, no harm, no foul yesterday on the NBA, but definitely a game that was should have been a blowout in many instances. It wouldn't have been for all those Heat free throws last night. The referees certainly kept them in the game at times in that aspect. But so, like I said, no winnings yesterday in the NBA, but no losses either. So chalk that up as a good day. But how about you, Teddy? How'd you end up yesterday?
Yeah, I wasn't in action on the game, and I'm kicking myself because I was considering the over, and I just couldn't find the Spoelstra quote. I'm like, he has to run, he has to push pace, but I couldn't find any quote to get me there. So I leaned over, but I didn't get to the window. 70,000 subscribers for SBR videos, which is pretty cool. We got to talk about SBR odds for just a minute. And again, they're paying the bills. We're here to promote them, but I love being able to promote them when they have something or do something that helps people.
Mm-hmm.
And last night's game, you can handicap it from high heaven to wherever you want. Doesn't matter. Handicap the last. Really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters last night is whether you laid 9.5 with the Lakers, whether you laid 10, 10.5, 11, what you got with Miami. It was all about getting the right number. It was all about betting skills, not handicapping skills from a side standpoint. And that's something that SBR really helps with. That live odds page is worth something. At 9.5, you like the Lakers. You're like, hey, where's the line trending? Oh, it's moving up. I better get down now. At 10.5 or 11, you say, hey, maybe now's the time to buy in on the dog. But if you lost your bet last night on the side, it's all about betting skills. And again, it happens sometimes. We all lose bets sometimes at a bad number. But when it comes to betting skills, that's a whole piece of the equation that SBR odds page can really help with. I encourage you to have that open all day, every day. It really does make a difference.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I won part of the bet before the game even started, just because, like, say if you get on the line, say if you got on the Lakers minus the 7.5 when it first came out, I feel like you see it going up to 10.5. That's damn near a win before the game even starts. Like, if you lose, it's like, well, shit. I mean, at least I got the best of the line. I got the code. I mean, it's no necessarily win in the loss, but it's still like before the game starts, you just have to feel good about yourself. The fact that you got the best of the line, it makes me feel good. So I mean, and it's like you said, if you had, I think it closed at 11.5 at some shops, man. So if you waited to the last minute to take Lakers when you had all of this time, I mean, and that's another thing, guys, I can't stand when they are. So we knew that Bam and Goran Dragic were doubtful. It was a small chance they were going to play. Then when they get like all the way ruled out, then the spread is still going to move a whole point or half a point or 1.5 in some instances. It's like we already knew this was going to happen. So I mean, if you took the Lakers there, I saw one guy put like 100 and some thousand on Lakers 10.5 and the over, and I was just thinking, man, I know that last shot was just, oh man, I know, because you got that much money, you watching the game at the casino, and they're up 12, and you finna cover, you finna go pick up your 300 some grand, whatever, and then that last bet, oh man, I can't. But that's why would you lay 10.5 when it's been there all day? So that's their fault, Teddy. That's their fault, man. It's a tough one.
So people are on Twitter now, all talking, the big bets are getting a lot of attention. All right. The best bettors in the world do not make big bets like that at one book. That's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
They're not looking to bet into bad numbers. The guys who are making bets like that are recreational players with a lot of money. And recreational players with a lot of money, the sweat is what it is. He had the sweat. He got his enjoyment out of it last night. Kelly Olynyk, as you mentioned. And Olynyk did it a couple of times last night.
Mm-hmm.
In the end of the third quarter, Olynyk, he had back-to-back threes. And, it really felt like the Lakers were about to blow the doors off the Heat. And Olynyk kept them in the game. And then at the end of the fourth, with the 2 buckets in the final minute, he single-handedly covered the point spread. So certainly the closing numbers. So Olynyk, any Miami backers out there got to send Olynyk a Christmas card this year.
Yeah, at least buy his jersey or something.
One guy in the chat says, if you're late, you're late, man. Sometimes you just got to let it go. So, I'm real big on that. You don't have to bet a game, man. If you late, you miss the line movement, what's the point of taking it at a bad line and then you lose? You're really going to be kicking yourself. So a loss avoided is better than a win gained, in my opinion, man. But let's go ahead and recap yesterday's game. Obviously, the Heat, like we say, we knew they were going to do everything they could to try to stay relevant in this series here. They didn't have Dragic, they didn't have Bam Adebayo. They didn't cover the first quarter or the first half. Actually, in the second half, it seemed like they came out like, no, we're not getting blown out, because they were on the brink of being down by 20, and they just wouldn't let it happen. They outscored the Lakers down 39-35 there in the third quarter, coming out of halftime. So that was a 74-point quarter, man. Like Teddy says, man, this pace. Both teams are just really pushing the pace. Even the Heat, even after a made basket, these guys are just really pushing the ball up the floor. Obviously, they're forcing the Lakers to shoot all these threes, guys, and when they're making them, then obviously the Lakers are going to blow them out. But it'll be interesting to see what will happen in one of these games when the Lakers don't have a good shooting night, because obviously they could possibly lose the game straight up. But we'll get into that. But Teddy, what was your assessment of yesterday's game? Duncan Robinson rushing up more threes, man. I know Coach they're supposed to told him to, but some of them shots, man, them guys shoot are just terrible shots out there. And we talked about on the show yesterday, Myles Leonard getting some minutes as well. Teddy, what you think about yesterday's game?
I'll answer that in just a second. We do have breaking news that the Chiefs-Patriots game has been canceled, postponed. So that just happened. So I just want to let people know, which is an issue, obviously, potentially moving forward. When it comes to last night, Miami and LA, the Heat did something last night that's only been done 3 times in the history of the NBA Finals. 50% from the field, 40% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. 50, 40, 90. The 3 previous teams that did it all won the title. Miami did it and lost by double digits. All right. That's tough. It's hard to expect any team to shoot better than 50% from the floor, 40% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. And they got to the free throw line all night. Jimmy Butler, I saw this stat. Butler, who had averaged 16 drives per game, took 24 drives to the hoop last night. He was really making a concerted effort to be aggressive. And Miami as a team made a really concerted effort to be aggressive, hence all the free throw attempts, 31 of 34 from the charity stripe. Offensively, it's hard to imagine, even with Bam back, Miami playing a much better game than the one they just played, especially considering what the Lakers' defense is. You look at the other end of the equation, the Lakers are hitting threes right now. All right, they were hitting threes last night, and they're getting the contributions from the role players. Everybody's like, Lakers can't hit threes. Yeah, they can. They just didn't for extended stretches in the bubble. If you follow the Lakers through the regular season, that's when they have Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and a bunch of shooters, and the fact that the shooters spent a good portion of the season not hitting shots doesn't mean they can hit shots or won't hit shots. We're starting to see them hit shots the first 2 games of the finals. And now, really, the last 3 games for the Lakers, all double-digit wins. They're a team it's hard for me to step in front of right now. They really are. They're peaking at the right time. Let's put it that way.
Got you. What you think about this one, Jordan? What you think about that game yesterday? When you got Rondo out there going 3 for 4 from 3, it's going to be a tough fucking night. When you got Rondo out there hitting threes like that, It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. What you think about the game last night, Jordan?
You read my mind. That was definitely one of my points I was about to make. Let me back up just a second, though, for 1 sec. I think Spo listened to you, Jay. He must be a fan of Jammin with the J Money, because you were very adamant yesterday of making sure that Solomon Hill and Derrick Jones Jr. did not see much court time. Both those guys, too, combined for 1 minute of action yesterday. They definitely leaned on Olynyk like they should, and he paid off for people who are betting the Heat. He's obviously, I think, a better defender than what people give him credit for. He's big, obviously, and he could shoot the ball. So even with Bam, potentially, it looks like coming back here tomorrow, I don't see how you can't give Olynyk another 25, 28 minutes in this game, simply because like he's going to be the guy that stretches the floor and pulls away those Lakers bigs away from the basket, which is the biggest problem for the Heat yesterday, is that the Lakers had 26 more possessions than they did. 10 plus 10 on the offensive boards. Anthony Davis, I think, had 8 offensive rebounds. You can't let that happen in a game like this. That was the difference of the game right there. And obviously the Heat had problems without Bam. We knew they were going to get out rebounded without Bam, but you can't just let them go that many more possessions than you and get that many extra chances at it. This is the Los Angeles Lakers we're talking about here. They have the 2 best players on the court right now. The Heat have got to do a better job of preventing the Lakers from getting extra possessions if they want to avoid getting sweeps in this game. And that being said, the difference, though, I think for me yesterday, I mean, you knew going in that you were going to get a huge game from Anthony Davis again. LeBron James obviously had a big game again. His shot selection has gotten a lot better, which is something that I know Junior and Jay have been harping on a lot here in the first couple rounds. He's taking a lot better shots now. They're either at the rim or kind of that mid-range game, those 2 mid-range spots he really likes, or they're 3-point attempts. And outside of Davis and James, though, playoff Rondo, and I know he hates being called that, has been their 3rd best player so far in this series, and maybe even dating back to some of those Nuggets games, those last few Nuggets games too. The way he's played defense, he's making threes, which is ridiculous, like you said, Jay. I mean, who would have thought? In that 08 title run with Baby Rondo and those old guys with Boston, that Rajon Rondo would be here 12 years later, going 3 for 4 from beyond the arc in an NBA Finals game, being the 3rd best player with AD and LeBron on the court at the same time. I mean, he's been the difference maker for his team. He plays good defense. He finds the open man. He's got like a quarterback's arm. When he gets an outlet, he just launches it down the court. And AD rim running all night, once again, just continues to beat the Heat defense down the court. That's another thing. It's like the Heat have got to step this up if they want to win a game. They cannot let Anthony Davis beat them down the court to the rim, because he's just getting dunk after dunk after dunk, shooting 75% from the floor last night, because all his shots were basically at the rim, either drop stepping off of that zone breakdown or rim running on a fast break and beating them down the court. That cannot happen anymore if they want to cover this next game. That being said, I feel like the Heat have gotten the Lakers like literally their 2 best punches, right? I mean, can you think of the Lakers playing better than they have been the last 2 games? Like maybe a little bit, but they've taken the Lakers' best 2 punches. If they can prevent the Lakers from getting some of those offensive rebounds and getting out in transition, they're going to win a game here. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or not. Bam being potentially back, I think, helps out a lot. I thought Kendrick Nunn played very well, and Duran Dragic just said yesterday, but they have got to correct those 2 things if they are going to want a chance at making this a series and getting it to a 2-1 and not going down 3-0 tomorrow. I think the rebounds and just getting back on defense is like very 2 fundamental things they have got to correct if they want to win a game.
Exactly. Before I let you talk, Teddy, the Lakers, them boys had 16 offensive rebounds at that, and they just killed them boys, man. And you're right, AD runs to, and it's kind of you said one thing you said, and I ain't gonna say too much. You said something that really stuck out to me. The Lakers, and kind of in my eyes, I feel like they didn't play perfectly here, and it's just too old. You can't really look at it. We had to take account how the game was played, but it's still just 2 losses, like Miami. He said after game 1, it's just 1 loss. It could, if they're gonna win a game, I don't think it'll be game 4. It's gonna be game 3. That's for damn sure. If they lose game 3, we know it's the bubble. Everybody gonna be ready to go home. They're not going down 3-0 and then we got to come and win one. If they're gonna win one, Teddy know it's gonna be game 3, man. It's their last chance pretty much, because game 4 would get ugly. I mean, the Heat aren't the type of team that just give up. But I mean, come on, bro, 3-0 in the bubbles. Come on now, Teddy. What you think? What you think about those? So let's go ahead and get into the next game, Teddy.
Sure. Because this is something that I actually didn't know. LeBron's never been up 2-0 in an NBA Finals before. He's only either down 0-2 or tied 1-1. He's never been in this spot. But we have definitely seen the mentality from the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call it a mature mentality, which is we got to take care of business before we celebrate. And that was on display last night. That was on display in game 1. I don't think that changes going into game 3, into Sunday's game. When you have a veteran team like the Lakers that's been in these spots like LeBron has before many times, you understand the challenges that you still have in front of you, even after you've won 14 of your hopeful 16 playoff victories. So I'm not looking for the Lakers to lay down or to have any type of flat spot. If Miami's going to take game 3, they're going to have to earn it. And I don't know that they can. I don't think we didn't see him lay down last night. I don't think we're going to see him lay down in game 3. But Anthony Davis had more offensive rebounds than Miami did. And the Heat have to do that. All right. They can't attack the offensive glass because they have to get back in transition. Yeah. They're trying to push on offense and get back on defense. And where's the weakness in that? You don't get any offensive rebounds and your opposing team gets a bunch. And those extra possessions have been the difference, certainly were the difference in last night's game for Miami. And again, they shot 50, 40, 90, which it happened 3 previous times in the history of the NBA. I can't ask them to do that again. We saw Myers Leonard come out at the start, and he came out at the start of the second half as well. And AD just ate him up both times, and immediately he was back on the bench, and Olynyk back in the game. Miami doesn't have any low post answers. Okay, there are no low post answers on the roster without Bam. So we'll have to see, as we'll have to try to read everything we can about Adebayo over the next 24 hours and see where he's at. But just because he plays tomorrow doesn't mean he's necessarily going to be effective.
Yeah, I mean, he played in game 1 and look how effective he was,
Yeah, and I didn't like the fact that obviously, because you could have got a 10, you could have got a 9.5 before they announced this. The Heat are a type of team, obviously, going to be missing Bam, and they're going to be if you really look at it, this was something that I kind of saw yesterday. Olynyk pulling it. It's going to be a lot different than Bam because he actually can shoot threes. He's actually a shooter. He can pull Anthony Davis or whoever the big is out for them, have them moving around the floor. So it's kind of the Heat have a lot of different things they can do. I think Spoelstra, this is my main thing. A must-win game 3. The Lakers can still win the game, even if it's a must-win for the Heat. Obviously, they have to win. This is my thing with the Lakers, and you kind of saw it last night. Obviously, they get up when the Heat couldn't score, but when the Heat are scoring points, we saw them cut that game to like 7 points. It was like they cut it down to 9 for sure. So they cut it within double digits. They'll keep going on little runs. Obviously, the Lakers going another run, but you just have to keep in mind they just want to win the game. They don't have to necessarily win by double digits. And that's why there's no way. I know a lot of people ask me, why aren't you taking the Lakers? I just don't like being on the side that everybody's on, and I'm not laying 10 points in the finals game, in the game where they just want to win. Lakers win by 1 or 2, and they're cool. You know what I'm saying? It's still up 3-0. They don't have to blow the Heat out every game. We know the Heat are coming next game. We can see if Spoelstra can make some more adjustments. I love the fact that he didn't have Solomon Hill and Derrick Jones out there, Jordan. You said something. Hopefully he did watch the show or somebody showed it to him or something, man, but I really feel like they could have won game 1. That's where everything switched, man. When he brought them 2 fuckers in the game, they was up 25-12. You brought them in the game, bro, and then that's when everything changed. Y'all could be up 1-0 right now. If you go up 20 on the Lakers, man, they might just fold. But we're gonna see what the Heat got to bring tomorrow, man. It'll be really interesting to me to see a sweep in the finals. I'd really be interested. I think we'd see point shaving Brun before that shit happens, man. Especially the way the Rays are, they need one more game. But like I say, man, if I had to make a play on it, I would be taking the points. Obviously, must-win game. It's the last chance for the Heat, man. But it's tough, very tough to step in front of this Lakers team who's firing on all cylinders. Obviously, they're looking like they're going to win the championship before the series, in my opinion. He got to get some rebounds, man, pushing the pace. I don't know, man. Like you said, they had a good shooting game last game and still end up losing by 12. Really, they didn't lose by 10 to me, man. They lost by 12, but they did. The final score was 10, Jordan. So any look on this one? What you think about the total as well? Not much of an adjustment. 218.5 here, but we had to be looking at another over the way these guys were pushing the pace, Jordan.
Yeah, Teddy was talking about this earlier too, and that was my lean yesterday, was the over. It's been my lean the last 2 games, just simply because, like you said, initially I kind of thought it was that the Lakers were going to have to go small. the Lakers did go small, and they just continue to pound Miami regardless here. So, I mean, yeah, if the Lakers want to play fast, we've known this from the Lakers since like this past like a year ago before the season even started. Like we knew they wanted to get out and run and put pressure on you defensively and get fast breaks. Like they're going to continue to want to do that to this Heat defense. I think the question is whether or not Miami, like they did yesterday, obliges to that and continues to play up in pace too. My thought is I think Miami's seen the last two games and they've said, okay, we've played we had a really good shooting day. We haven't played great defense, but you know, we're a little handicapped in that area. We don't have much of a choice other than to slow things down offensively and make the Lakers work defensively. Now, whether or not that's going to help or not, it remains to be seen. I don't think it will. But I mean, if I'm Eric Spoelstra, I'm going to try to come out, you know, pretty quick early, and then maybe slow things down. If you can hang with the Lakers here and continue to work that zone, maybe Bam's back playing up at the top of it to prevent them from, because last night without Bam playing kind of that middle to the top of that zone, they would just get penetration wherever they wanted. It was one or two dribbles, defense collapse. They either dump it down to AD for a dunk or dish it out for a three. So they have to work. They have to continue to work the middle of that zone if the Heat continue to go that way, which I think they will. But pace wise, yeah, I mean, if that's happening, I still can't see the Miami defense slowing them down. And if the Lakers are playing fast and with a lead, the Heat have no choice but to play quickly. In that aspect, if we continue the game scripts from the first couple games, the Lakers are getting out to these double-digit leads early. So, I mean, it really just depends on how Miami comes out of this game. Like, I mean, I leaned first quarter Heat in game 2. I think, like, if there's a spread bet I'd take, it would probably be that again, just because I want to see this line continue to go up. We're already seeing 9s pop out here for one of my favorite Joe's shops here. But, yeah, I mean, the total wise, yeah, with the steam heading that direction, with the way these two first games have been played, with the shooting the way it was, and with the Heat defense just being having really no answers for the Lakers, especially the two best players, it's going to be hard for me to say that in game 3 things are just going to automatically change and we're going to get this slower paced, grinded out style of game like the Heat were used to playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Lakers aren't going to allow them to do that, especially if they continue to get up early. The Heat's only chance of playing their style of basketball is if they get an early lead and they could put some pressure on the Lakers on offense and force them to defend for long stretches of the shot clock. But like I said, that's a lot easier said than done against this Lakers team right now.
Exactly. And another thing, man, that's tough for me watching these games, Teddy, is Duncan Robinson doesn't really seem to have a space on the floor. When he's not making threes out there, it's pretty much no because he's not out there for defense. I can tell you that shit right now. Duncan Robinson's not out there for defense. He's out there pretty much to make threes. When he's not making them, he's a negative on the floor, man. So I don't know, man. Eric Spoelstra really gonna have to figure out something with these lineups. And I'm not saying that Solomon Hill and Derrick Jones can't play, but you definitely can't give them time at the 4 and 5. That's my thing. So maybe 2 and 3 or something. Maybe I think he might have to shuffle up the starting lineup. You might have to get Nunn back. I know Nunn is with Dragic being out. Nunn is the main player off the bench, but you're gonna have to shuffle some stuff up, man. I know maybe just bring Hero off the bench. Put Nunn there, start Iguodala. He's gonna have to switch something up though, man. He definitely has to switch things up. Be interesting to see what happens in this game 3, man. This is the finals right here, game 3. If the Heat go out another blowout, that game 4, nobody's watching game 4. I'm telling you that shit right now. If it's up 3-0, everybody's like, all right, this is Lakers gonna win. It's gonna get my money, man. It's gonna get my money. Ain't nobody watching that, Teddy. So what do you think? If you had a free bet, you just found $100 on the at the sports book, Teddy. What is it going on? Heat plus 8.5 or Lakers minus 8.5?
It's going on the total.
Come on, Teddy. No, that was the next question. You cheating, Teddy. No, you got to. The total is out. You can't bet the total. It's just a spread. If you had to do it, Lakers minus 8.5, Heat plus 8.5.
I'd probably take Miami. Because if there's one game Miami's going to show, it's supposed to be game 3, but they showed game 2, and they just shot 50, 40, 90 in game 2, and I can't ask them to do that again. I'm not playing the side. It's a hard side. The total's where the action is. Miami can't play in a half-court game against LA. Spoelstra knows it. The Lakers know it. Everyone knows it. They have to push pace. And when they've been pushing pace in this series, is the only time in the first 2 games is the only time when they've had any success on the offensive end of the court when they push pace. We talked about how the Lakers want to push pace. There was a 6-minute stretch of the fourth quarter last night where a grand total of 7 points were scored. It was brick fest and turnovers and bricks and turnovers from about the 9-minute mark to about the 3-minute mark of the fourth quarter. There was basically no scoring. It was 4-3. And the game still flew over by more than 20 points. You know, the pace is there. And I know I don't expect Miami to have that level of offensive execution, 50, 40, 90, but at the same time, the over's the wager that makes the most sense to me when looking at game 3. I don't have it in pocket yet because there isn't any need to have it in pocket yet. The 218s, and I'm looking at the SBR live odds page, the 218.5s are out there, and there's even a couple of 218s. So when we get off the show, I'm going to look for one of those 218s. I think I'm going to put it in my pocket.
Yeah, there's not much adjustment as well, man, from the last game. Last game it opened at 218, got back down to 216.5. Obviously, I mean, that was mainly because Dragic and Adebayo was out, though. So we've seen it, man. The line hadn't really moved too much, really, on both ends, really. I mean, because the fact that the Heat are still getting 8.5, I guess they're just getting Bam back, going down from 10 in that total. So what you think about that, Jordan, that over there? I mean, I know watching that last game, both teams were flying, and we usually see them after a fast break flying. No, when you see a team after a made basket rushing like that, like the Pelicans do, that's freaking over right there all day long. I mean, after made basket, you pushing the pace, yeah, that's over. And it's tough to find a quote coming out of Spoelstra like that, tipping his hand at what he's going to do. But yeah, we know he has to play faster, and the Lakers don't mind as well. And they pretty much force him to shoot a bunch of threes. If they're making them, Jordan, then yeah, the total starts creeping up real quick once the Lakers start draining them threes there. Jordan, what you think? Free play on the total? You taking over?
Yeah, I'll start with the spread. Free play on the spread, I would wait until I can maybe get a 9 or 9.5, and I'll take points with Miami simply because, like you mentioned, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in Game 3. If it doesn't happen in Game 3, just start packing your bags before you even get out on the court for Game 4. On the total, I pick up on something Teddy just said. I wanted to mention this. The second halves for these two teams lately, if you go back to even the last few games of their conference final series, the second halves have been played at an immensely slower pace than the first halves. First halves have been flying pace-wise, even for Miami lately at 109.5. I think if I had any total bet, I think I'd probably lay it on the first half over, simply because I think, like I just looked at it here a second ago, last 5 games for these two teams have been playing at paces about 93 to 94 possessions per game. In the first half, it goes up to about 98, 99 in some instances, especially here lately. The defense for Miami in the first half, dating back to their last 5 games, 2 in this series and the last 3, has been very bad in the first half and has improved in the second half a lot. I think it could be the first half here. If anything happens the way it's going to happen if I proceed in Game 3, the Lakers could potentially come out a little lethargic with a 2-0 lead. The Heat could jump on them early, score a bunch of points like we saw in Game 1, and then hopefully continue that offensive effort that we saw in that pace in Game 2 in the first half, and continue that into Game 3 here, and force, like Teddy said, if they're going to run, they have to commit to it basically from the opening tip and get the Lakers out of their comfort zone. Because, I mean, even like I said earlier, I think they can wear them down in the half court, but that may not be enough with their personnel issues right now. So the only thing I could see as a plus EV bet in this game on the total, I think, would be the first half. The second half, if the Lakers get up at halftime by, let's say, what's the margin here? 4.5 points at half. Let's say they're up 5 or 6, maybe 8 points at the half. They're going to come out in third quarter and step on Miami's neck defensively. Like, there's absolutely no way they sleepwalk through the whole game. If they end up sleepwalking, I think it's going to be the first half. With that, if I had to make a play on it, it'd probably be over 109 first half.
Yeah, you said something there. We know teams now 2-0. It's not the regular, regular scenario where we have teams now 0-2 going back to the house. But the Heat will have their graphic on the floor. They'll have their fans, on the Heat technically at the house, but down 0-2 at the house. We know that first half is usually a pretty strong play. Like you said, I mean, the team that's down 0-2 in theory should come out to play in the first half, catching the points. Whatever happens in the second half is a whole different thing. But I mean, the only way I could lean in must-win game. It's not always that simple, but we do know one thing, that the Heat will never quit. Yes, last night it got down by 18 points, and easily could have been blown out by 20. I've seen plenty of teams just give it up. Oh, it's over. Fuck it. I mean, it's just another game. No, they still did everything that they could to win. Cut it to 8 and 9 points and tried to come back and win that game. So they will never give up, man. And I love a team like that. In a must-win game, I mean, they're getting 8.5 points. I would have to lean towards the Heat, not in a rush to bet against the Lakers, especially the way they're looking right now. But the Heat should come to play here tomorrow, in theory, in the first half and full game. Doesn't always work out that way, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see the Heat take a game and the Lakers win this series 4-1. Wouldn't be, and if it's going to be a game, it's not going to be game 4. I ain't going to guarantee it, but I couldn't see it, man. Them boys getting up down 3-0. Tomorrow is the game where they're getting up, and it's like if they don't, it's going to be a huge exhale in game 4, in my opinion. Any closing thoughts on this one, Teddy?
Well, I mean, from a point spread perspective, game 2 was incredible drama in the fourth quarter. It was a one-possession game the whole fourth quarter, basically, where the lead was, between like 7 and 13 the entire fourth quarter. So from a drama standpoint, it was there. That first half stuff you guys are talking about makes a ton of sense to me. Looking right now, 4.5, 109.5. Catching 4.5 with Miami down 0-2 first half makes a fair bit of sense to me. And over first half as opposed to over full game makes a fair bit of sense to me as well. So, again, this is why, we have the game's not till tomorrow. We have a little time to think about it. We'll let it marinate for a little bit. But all the, Miami's making sense to me as a first half, and I'm going to get on the over some way, whether it's first half, full game, maybe both.
Yeah, we know sometimes they come out there and cover the first half by so much that full game be on tonight too. Head to the over, barring a super defensive or 40-point combined quarter or something by the two. So, and the way that the pace was last night, man, I don't see shit. One of the teams themselves might go for 40. We saw one of them get 39. The Lakers, the Heat get 39 there in that third quarter. So, be interesting to see both teams pushing the pace. That doesn't bode well for the under. I can definitely tell you that. I would bet under in this game, and be interested to see what happens with the sides as well. So, Jordan, if you had to play on the game, what you lean as well, my guy, before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think that that first half over is making more sense. I might be talking myself into making that official here, but obviously the game tomorrow, I'm going to wait until probably at least tomorrow morning, afternoon before I fire at anything. Because I almost did something similar in game 2 to this, and if the Lakers come out hot and start scoring a bunch of points, that first half over is going to be great value, I think, at 109.5. And then at halftime, like we saw in game 2, I don't know what the live line was at halftime after the Heat were down by that much at halftime, but they obviously came back and covered whatever it was. And that may be another avenue I might look at here too. If the Lakers come out and just absolutely squash them on offense, and the Heat continue to have no answer for them defensively, the Heat have shown that they can come out and make adjustments and will not give up, like you said, Jay. Mm-hmm. So, taking 13, 14 points maybe at halftime may be the way to go here on the live line as well. But right now, pregame wager over 109 first half is probably 109.5 is probably the best bet that I could come up with for this game right now.
Got you. First half over, full game over, a couple of looks, leans. Obviously, like we say, that we had to do the show today because we don't do shows on Sundays, man. I don't know. I just be chilling on Sundays. So we went ahead and did it today, because obviously it's not many games left. So, we had to go ahead and go do it today. But, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the Heat would lay down. The game last night was really indicative to me, in my opinion, because even though it's just one game, and I can't say teams are used to going down 0-2, but it's not the series isn't over. It's definitely not over. We know it's the Lakers here, but in theory, just because a team goes down 0-2, it's not like it's 3-0 where it's like this shit is not happening, So it's that you can't count the Heat all the way out. They're getting 8.5 points. It's the only way I could look. I'm not taking the Lakers. Game 4, if they win, I'll be looking towards Lakers. I'll tell you that right now. But Heat first half and full game is definitely a lean for me right now. Me personally, I'll probably hop on that full game plus 8.5. Might try to give me a 9 here at the local, man. They love the Lakers here. They had Lakers minus 11 yesterday, man, for somebody hit them down to 10.5. But try to get that 9, man, 8.5. Absolute must-win game for the Heat, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see them get this one and the Lakers take this series 4-1. Wouldn't surprise me one bit, man. Nobody wants to see 4-0, man. The Lakers win it this easy. A lot of people didn't want to see the Lakers, period. I want to see a 7-game series, bro. We don't got a whole lot of basketball left. Come on, bro. The Lakers can let them boys get one, man. Come on, bro. But regardless, even the Lakers do win, you get 8.5 in a month. I like it, man. I like it. The boys ain't gonna never quit. He'll never quit, man. We're gonna go ahead and get out here. Teddy, anything else? Any closing words, my guy?
Well, I mean, you said it about Miami. I mean, Miami is a character team, you know. And when you have a character team facing adversity, in general, we're going to look to the character team. So that makes a ton of sense to me. And again, the over makes a ton of sense to me for tomorrow. Whether it's first half, full game. But cool. No, that's my closing thoughts, man.
Gotcha.
You know, sometimes it marinates. You know, it's just marinating in your head, and that's the way to win at this. When it's not about having one reaction and immediately just got to bet this now. You know, it's let it fester. Think about it. Come back to it in a couple hours.
Sleeping on it. Yeah.
You know, that's my process. I don't know about you guys, but that it's worked for me long term. So I think you guys are pretty close in that regard.
Yeah, trust me. This game's been marinating on me for a little while. This whole series, so that's all I be thinking about is basketball. Sometimes it drives me crazy. Like when I'm winning, you know what I'm saying, everything's good. But when I'm losing, it's not because you have so much shit going on in your head. I could have did this better. Did this. But I mean, I've been thinking about the Heat, man. So LeBron said he can't sleep. He hadn't able to sleep. He's so locked in. But you're still on social media. The old LeBron that I know, the one that I was a fan of, he wouldn't get on social media whatsoever until the playoffs were all the way over. So, I mean, he's still locked in. Still, you know what I'm saying? They're still going to win the most likely win the championship, whatever. But he's still on social media talking, so I can't sleep all this. All right, LeBron. All right, let him get one. Point shaving, Bron. He gonna let him get one, man. I like the Heat, man. We finna go ahead and get out of here. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to Jammin with J Money. Y'all hit the like button, subscribe. Congratulations, you know what I'm saying, to everybody for getting us to 70,000 subscribers. Let's try to get it to 71,000, 75,000, 80,000 subscribers, man, 100,000. So let's try to get there. I know we can. You guys share the show, tell everybody about it. Replay it again tomorrow for, you know what I'm saying, I'll retweet the show again tomorrow for guys that couldn't get a chance to watch it live. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Go to sbrpicks.com/NBA to check out all the articles that we have, even NFL, college football, NBA, whatever sport you like to bet on, even NASCAR, man. We got articles over there from every sport, man. That's my guy Teddy Covers. That's my guy Jordan Sharp, and I'm Jay Money, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. We out.